Ever told you to be in the restroom and someone who shouldn't have been there suddenly appeared, leaving you in a very dangerous situation? I am, and this is the story of how I met the molester in the school restroom. My name is Kaylee. I'm 17 years old, and I'm currently studying at Mickwell High School. I'm a pretty girl and quite well known in school, and I'm very proud of that. I never had a thought that my beauty would put me in extreme danger. It all started very innocently. Suddenly, I started receiving messages of confession every day complimenting my appearance and saying that person really liked me. For a teenage girl, having someone like you is a secret and is worth bragging about. Me and Lauren, my best friend together, would guess who the secret fan is. Lauren said that maybe John himself should, and this prediction made me much happier. John is the most popular hot boy in our school. He's the captain of the basketball team. He's very handsome and has a very admirable body. God, I crushed him the first time I met him, and he seemed to like me too, because during math class, the only subject we were studying together, he used to look at me and smile. Each time my heart was pounding. But those messages started to become unapproved. They started sending messages about them knowing where I was, even commenting on the color of my underwear. I'm very scared. At this point, I officially realized that I was being harassed, not just messages of confession. I was scared and made a distance from everyone, including John. Anyone can send a message, and I felt insecure at all. I just went to school and went straight home. And the harasser seemed to be starting to get angry because he couldn't track me so much anymore. He said that he knew my home, and whenever I was home, he would come and kidnap me. Now, when I think back, what I regret most is that I didn't alert the police earlier when there were signs of harassment and intimidation. If I had done that, things would definitely be much easier. Back into the story. I received a message saying that he would come and kidnap me when I was home alone. And surely everyone will be scared when receiving such a message. But imagine if I got that message in the afternoon at school, right after my parents just phoned to tell me they had to work late, and Lauren was sick that day. I'm alone and do not dare to go home. My heart was pounding, and I jumped when the bell rang into the classroom. Fortunately, I did not have heart disease, otherwise my heart would have stopped beating at that moment. I went to math class, and John came a little behind me. He looked at me worriedly and gave me some napkins. "What's wrong with you? Your body is shaking and sweaty. Are you sick?" he asked me. If it was the usual time, I'd be happy. But at that moment, I was so scared that my soul froze. I could only look at him and not say a word. Our math teacher, Miss Mitchell, entered the room. John immediately told the teacher, "Miss Mitchell, it seems that Kaylee is sick. I think we should take her to the infirmary." Miss Mitchell walked over and put her hand to my forehead. "God, my forehead is so hot, Kaylee. All right, let me take you to the infirmary. John asked me to handle the classroom." Miss Mitchell helped me up and took me to the infirmary. After placing me on the bed, Miss Mitchell asked me in a soft voice, "Katie, what is wrong with you? You look so scared." I immediately burst into tears. I choked to tell Miss Mitchell about being threatened with abduction amidst hiccups. "Don't worry, Kaylee. Our school has an extremely secure security system. You'll be okay." Of course, schools cannot have state-of-the-art security systems like the FBI or CIA, but those comforting words made me much reassured. I lay in the infirmary and fell asleep. I woke up sad to go to the toilet, and I walked out of the infirmary. I began to realize something was wrong. The school was deserted, and there were no people left, and it was dark outside. I was terrified. Anyway, I decided to go to the toilet and called my parents to pick me up. But when I got there, I discovered that the door to the women's washroom was locked, even though the men's toilet door was open and the lights were on. I was puzzled and decided to go to the men's restroom. When I finished going to the toilet and started to flush, my phone suddenly got a text message. "Red panties, male toilet room, I'm coming." And I heard footsteps approaching. Dong dong, dong dong. It sounded like the footsteps of demons from hell. I trembled, picked up the phone, dialed my dad's number, and the bells rang, but no one answered. And the footsteps came to the door of my cubicle. There was a knock at the knocking door. I was scared to drop my phone on the floor. I stepped back and saw through the gap of the door a pair of high heels. I breathed a little, thinking that maybe it was just a teacher, but a second later I was even more terrified. God, this is the men's washroom. Why is there a woman coming in here? And even if I went in, why not go into an empty room and knock on my door? And I realized that the person who harassed me was a woman and maybe even a school teacher. I screamed in despair and fear. "Help me, please, help me." I screamed hoarsely. I shouted until my throat was dry and could not make any sound. And when my screams became silent, I heard a cunning laugh like a witch. And she started to turn on the lock and tried to open the door. I'm dumbfounded, my whole body cold as if in hell. At that moment, another footstep ran up. "Miss Mitchell, why are you here?" I realized it was John's voice, a flash of hope. I tried to call out to him in a weak, hoarse voice. John, help me, assist, please. John ran closer. Kaylee, open the door. My hand was shaking. It took several tries to open the door. John ran in and hugged me. I raised my head. Saw Mitchell standing nearby. Her eyes reddened. Monica, I won't allow you to leave me anymore. This time if we die, we'll die together. She pulled out a gun and stuck it on my head. I and John were both too scared to move. Luckily, at this moment, a police officer came aiming the gun at her. Put down the gun and raise your hand. She looked blankly at the policeman, then dropped the gun to the floor. The police quickly arrested her. Why did John appear here? Because he left the phone at school that night. He came back to take it, and when he heard the cry for help, he called the police and ran to find me. Thank God John left his phone. Otherwise, I couldn't dare to imagine what would happen. After her arrest, she claimed that I looked like her suicide partner when she was younger. And you've probably guessed it, that partner is called Monica. A few days ago, Mitchell was sentenced. She will have to live in a hospital for crazy people all her life. I'm glad everything is over, and I'll never have to worry about her from now on. However, this story is a reminder to anyone, whether male or female, can be a harasser. Before things were discovered, no one expected a female teacher over 40 years old to be able to do such scary things. And please call the police as soon as you feel unsafe for something before things get too far. It could save your life. What do you think of Mitchell? She has to live in a mental hospital for the rest of her life. Have you ever had the same experience? Leave your comments and let me know.